Sheikha Latifa bint Mohammed Al Maktoum, or simply Princess Latifa, is an Emirati sheikha, the daughter of Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and one of the most controversial members of the Dubai ruling family. In late February 2018, Princess Latifa attempted an escape from Dubai, but was unfortunately forcibly returned from international waters near the Indian coast. What could possibly prompt the Princess of Dubai to flee her own country? And more importantly, what comes after? How does her father, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, tie into her story? This is the story of the princess who escaped her cruel fate. Hey, I'm Kat, and welcome back to Rumor Has It. Little note, apologies if I mispronounce any names during this video. Sheikha Latifa's story began on the 5th of December 1985 when she was born to Sheikh Mohammed and her Algerian mother, Haria Ahmed Al-Maash. Latifa isn't the only daughter of the Sheikha. She has two sisters, who also share her name, as well as two other full sisters and a brother. In a video statement Latifa made, she said that she and her brother Sheikh Majid spent most of her early childhood under the care of their paternal aunt. While many think that her 2018 attempt to escape Dubai was her first, it actually wasn't. In 2002, when she was just 16 years old, Sheikha Latifa first attempted to escape the clutches of her father with a singular intent to cross over the Oman to get help from a lawyer to release her sister Shamsa, who, at the time, was imprisoned. However, it all ended in her capture at the Emirati-Omani border. She was then subsequently jailed for over 3 years, during which time she was kept in solitary confinement and subjected to constant torture, mentally and physically through beatings. According to her video statement, which sounds quite crazy considering that she was still a member of the Dubai ruling family and a teenager. Even after her release from the captivity of her jail cell, Sheikha Latifa still wasn't free, not in the slightest. She was under unending surveillance from her father, and all her meetings were carefully monitored. However, undeterred, Latifa planned her next escape, only different. This time, she would be a lot more prepared. In fact, in her quest to be better prepared, she actually went through intense physical training, built a relationship with a past escapee from Dubai who was assured to help her, and made meticulous plans. While still in Dubai, locked away in silence, Latifa exposed her father's cruelty by privately recording and smuggling out periodic video diaries of her dreadful existence. When you read stories, the princess's life is usually told as a beautiful fairy tale, but Latifa's was far from that, a nightmare. One of her best friends in Dubai, Tina Jauhiaiden, even described just how restricted and tormented her existence was. She basically had no freedom. She, however, had strict curfews and regulations which stopped her from living a normal life. For instance, she couldn't date a man, she wasn't allowed to have certain friends or even speak to certain members of her family. All these restrictions were placed on her by her own father. Sheikh Mohammed still went about his business like he always did, carefully curating his international image. He went about doing deals with world leaders, rubbing shoulders with celebrities, and hanging out with royalty. However, that was all a facade, one that defied a dark reality within his palace, where he'd imprisoned 2 of his daughters and abused several ex-wives. Finally, in 2018, after several years of preparation, Latifa, now 32, made another daring attempt to escape Dubai alongside Tina. She literally traveled in the boot of a car all the way to Oman, where they braved stormy weather on a rubber dinghy to get aboard their escape vessel, a yacht named Nostromo. Prior to getting aboard Nostromo, Latifa's video recordings, where she not only criticized her father but also accused him of several crimes, including the murder of Bushra, as well as her and her sister's confinement and torture, had already gone viral. These video recordings were incredibly crucial for Latifa's escape getting the global recognition it did. The initial plan was for Latifa to somehow make her way to India and Sri Lanka, where she would use her fake passport to flee to the US and seek asylum. Sadly, the plan was foiled. Upon finding out that Latifa had escaped, the Dubai authorities went straight into overdrive to locate and bring her back to her father. The yacht was eventually located approximately 50 kilometers off the coast of Goa. After locating the yacht and discovering where his daughter was at the moment, Sheikh Mohammed spoke with Narendra Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, and they both came to an agreement to extradite a Dubai-based arms dealer in exchange for Latifa's capture. They deployed helicopters, boats, and a team of armed commandos to storm Nostromo and take Latifa away. This happened 8 days into their journey away from Dubai. The finish line was literally in sight. You can only imagine just how happy she must have been. And then the feeling of dread sinks in as people storm the boat, looking for her. Her arrest by the Indian government was beyond inhumane. Her hands were zip-tied. She was then forced to lie on the floor while they literally stepped on her head. Afterwards, a man took out a needle from a small camouflage pouch and injected her with what we can only assume was a tranquilizer. Latifa tried fighting, but it was all to no avail. The Indian commandos then bundled Latifa off the boat, readying her body to be flown back to Dubai. Latifa was eventually delivered back to her father, while every one of her accomplices were detained for up to a week before being let go. Her friend Tina, on the other hand, was able to get to England, where she continued to fight for Latifa's freedom. Latifa's story is much more about her struggles at the hands of the Sheikha and her attempts at escape. It's also about the overlooked failure of the British authorities as well as other countries and global organizations to hold the Sheikha accountable. Dubai and the UAE in general are embraced by the world as hubs of modernity in the Middle East, but the obvious repression of its people, in this case from within the ever-privileged royal family, has been ignored. In fact, it points out just how these women have been left hanging by the British authorities even after reaching out so many times. Sheikha Shamsa, Latifa's sister, reached out to the British authorities repeatedly in the early 2000s, when she also tried escaping but was unfortunately captured. She even tried obtaining asylum, and when picked up by the Emirati operatives, managed to convey to authorities that she was being taken back to Dubai against her free will. Latifa's story eventually got international attention. She was even visited by the former UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Mary Robinson, to assess her condition. Robinson would go back to tell the BBC that Latifa was a valuable, troubled woman who had made a video that she now regrets. Robinson's damning account reportedly left poor Latifa at the time confined to a villa in Dubai, used. This all only proves just how the British authorities have been unbothered by the continuous wrongdoings of the Dubai royal family, even at the time when a 26-year-old woman reported being held captive at one of the Sheikha's many UK properties and repeatedly by a member of the Dubai royal family. The British response was half-hearted. All this while, Sheikh Mohammed frequented the British racetracks at will and even found himself in the royal box at Ascot with the Queen. The Sheikha actually went as far as building a makeshift prison a couple hundred meters off the bank of the Dubai Canal just to house Latifa. She was being told that the world had forgotten all about her and no one cared, all in an effort to eliminate any hope she'd possibly have of ever escaping her captor. In fact, the police would buy her stopwatches just so she could see the time slowly tick away. After some time, Latifa had extraordinarily managed to get a message out to UK human rights campaigner David Hay. This was more than a message. It was a proof of life to the outside world. Good news, she was alive. Bad news, she was locked up. So, Hay and Tina were somehow able to covertly re-establish communications with Latifa. Even with everything she'd been through, Latifa was still determined to be free. On July 20, 2020, communication with Latifa abruptly ended, which led everyone to believe that she'd been made, and maybe even killed. A year later, footage obtained by David Hay was used on Panorama, a BBC program recounting everything Latifa had done to escape. This was more than enough to spark UN Human Rights Office to request proof that Latifa was still well. This also led to traction in the #FreeLatifa campaign. It didn't take long before pictures of Latifa in the open began circulating. On the 22nd of May 2021, a photo that appears to show Latifa sitting in the Mall of Emiratis was posted to social media. In June of the same year, more pictures of Latifa at Adolfo Suarez Madrid Barajas Airport were posted. This only meant one thing: Sheikha Latifa was free. And then, finally, in August 2021, the #FreeLatifa campaign came to an end. In April 2023, an unverified Instagram account opened in her name shared a statement thanking everyone who showed interest in her fight. And with that came the end of Latifa's fight for freedom. All Latifa's story shows is that behind that veil of modernity Dubai and the rest of the world claim, still lies a deeply receding reality where women somehow persist under male guardianship. A reality where freedom for women is still something enjoyed within the stiff boundaries laid out by powerful men. But hey, that's all from us. Now it's your turn. What do you think about Latifa's fight for freedom? Let us know what you all think in the comments down below. We love reading your thoughts, and remember to subscribe for the latest on the gossip, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!